stop the bridge completely from ACS to SACE. And I don't need 2.0 either. I gotta just go back to SACE. It's the only way I'm gonna get through this.
That's not a decision I'm gonna make. That's a decision, I've heard that's what you want.
Yeah.
And you want to stop, I also heard that you guys are not gonna do any transitions. How are your districts gonna get paid in October?
Well, we're gonna transition in, once we're done with SACE. But there is no way, I mean, really, we should probably take this up separately. We're not gonna get ACS.
That's a decision that you need to discuss with school finance,
Right, okay.
your vendor, and I just do what they tell me.
Okay, so all I'm really asking here is, who do we contact to get the bridge from ACS?
School finance.
And they can also ensure that,
Moving you back to the SACE, I cannot delete records in SACE, okay,
we get that.
Right.
that's up to the vendor, and then I have to turn off, I have to get your keys, I have to expire, there's some steps that have to happen.
So,
So there's no happening with parallel.
Right.
We'd like to keep going.
What's that?
I said, we'd like to go back to states for our 9 sites that are live, but we'd be happy to continue to go to ACS as well as long as we can get that data so that we can see, are we making progress? We take our keys back, and that's not an option.
That's not an option, you can't have two systems. And that was what I was told by EduPoint, they can't have two systems go.
wait. We can run both, no, that can be done. And you're saying that we can turn off that transition between the talking from HS to SAFE, you've already done that, you have the procedure in place to do that. If that piece is turned off, is it possible for LEAs, regardless of vendor, can LEAs submit in SAFE and AZ?
This is a school finance question.
Okay, and so school finance would be able to,
They'll probably get us all in a room, and we'll talk it out.
because
Because what you're asking for is EduPoint's number is gonna go to 0, and
what we're saying is, let them do both at the same time, and then they can compare their numbers on both sides, and they can say, yeah, my AZ number is matching my SIS, my SAFE.
but AZs will never match SIS. They match your SIS. It won't, but what they're doing is matching AZs to SACE.
But if we can make sure that AZ is matching SIS first, right, make sure that it's going where it is, and I like my numbers there, and I like my numbers on SAFE because I've been submitting with parallel, doing both at the same time. At that point, then, you know, we're very comfortable come July 1 or August or whatever, prior to the September date, we can make sure we get paid on the current year stuff of doing all the submission from the AZ.
But understand that you might be able to do 100 districts, and I might not be able to in one day. If you call me in one day and say I'm gonna do 100,
No, that's why we want to run them both at the same time.
understand that there's two sides to this coin.
I get that. That's why I'm saying, that's why.
And then doubling my load on SACE is another challenge. Because you're coming through the pipe, through SACE and AZs. So is what you're saying.
there wouldn't be anything moving from AZ to SACE.
No, you're coming from SIS to SACE and SIS to AZs.
And you're saying that's your.
That's doubling pipe.
That's
No,
your.
but you're turning off the transaction.
It's different pipes, but there is some things that are happening. So there's some real technical things. It's a little late in this game to be changing the rules. I changed them?
Yes, of course.
You just turned off the AZs to SAFE. That's a change.
No. Chandler was done. They're not submitting to two systems. They're submitting to one.
Right? So you're saying that anybody that hasn't transitioned up to this point, they can choose just to keep.
I would,
them off.
the best thing for do is not to transition and just keep them on SACE till end of year then.
Until after July 1.
That's your choice. If that's what you guys are gonna do, then that's July 15th through August 30th. That's a high risk.
But you're saying that is possible.
I just told you the rules.
That's right. Okay.
So as long as the challenge is, if all of EduPoint's districts, because it almost gets down to, do I decertify EduPoint? Because they can't get the data to AZs.
No, wait, that's not what we said.
Oh, come on, now you're gonna threaten them?
That's completely different. not that
But
it's going-
here's the political point you're putting me in. Why is one vendor not able to do it, and I didn't want to do this in public?
You're saying that the vendor is able to do it. I saw your chart. We've got people that have transitioned. We have people that are going live.
Yeah, but I've got a group that says they want to go all back.
I have districts that are saying they like their state numbers better. They don't want to change those because they've been using it for 15, 16 years. That process has been embedded. They're very comfortable with how that works. They're very comfortable with knowing how to correct problems.
So as long as you can make it between July and August.
For those particular LEAs that are saying that they want to do that. That's not a vendor decision, that's an LEA decision. How an LEA decides to get the data to you is entirely on them. EduPoint's not stopping in this transition. They're
No,
not
but
saying-
I heard that I've got issues that I'm stopping you, so we gotta talk that offline. That's what I heard Bob say.
Yes. Yeah, there's outstanding questions that you have about those, that we have that we're going back to.
Program schools, the policy is gonna come.
Right,
That's-
that's one example, right, I'm saying, we know about things like that. I'm not saying that you're not gonna be able to do it. LEAs are saying that they would like, those say, they're comfortable.
So what I'd rather do, instead of keeping everybody here, is you two should have a meeting at the state, because you represent your districts. You should have your district person there with you at the Department of Education. And then make
You're
it,
a district person, you're talking to people here, or you're talking?
I don't know who their customer is. Whoever their customer is,
Okay.
because this is not they're sort of the vendor, correct?
Well, but we also have our other, we have other LEAs that are in the same type of book that are wanting to.
Then we're gonna have a lot of meetings. If you're gonna do this, it's a big deal.
Agree.
And now what happens if this is gonna have to be discussed at the top, because then you're gonna have every vendor saying, I wanna do the same thing.
Yeah, but we always did want to do it.
Well,
Do you understand the complexion that you're
I
doing?
understand what you just said, but if you're saying that every vendor would want to do that, then you're saying that other clients, other districts that may have even already gone over to ACS would have the exact same concern?
Well, the concern they have is that AZES doesn't max SACE. And I'm sitting here telling you, I'm spending a lot of money fixing it.
I get that, but they're saying, you're also telling them that they're going to be paying for at least August and September off of SAFE.
Correct.
So they have the best interest in making sure that SAFE.
SACE ADM of 100 day.
Right. But they have a vested interest in making sure SACE ADM is 100 days accurate. So why would they want to transition to something where they're not?
If they're not transitioned, that's a decision they need to make. But what you're asking is to move people back. That's what I heard.
That's not what we're asking.
That's what Bob asked.
They want to get those, but they want to do them in parallel so they can see that they're confident on both sides.
That's what
They're not
this
saying
year
shut
was
off
about.
one and not let us do the other. Everybody here knows we want to get off the state. That was the very first question you asked this morning. Everybody agreed we want to move off the state. So there's not people saying let's use states forever.
No, but I heard us move everything back. And that is a very big complexity. I cannot, let's say you're a big district and you're in there. There's so many orphans, I can't believe. And I know, Bob, you said you did it, okay? But that's a policy at the top.
I would so appreciate it if you would take this conversation totally off.
I didn't bring it online.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt for just a second here. Yes, and we agree that it should be taken offline at this point. We know that there are issues that districts are faced with. So, again, Mark mentioned maybe some future meetings with the districts that are, considering that.
That you represent in school finance. And then the decision should be there.
But that,
Huh?
Our district was one of the people that asked for our data to be stopped from ACS to state.
Which district?
Libby's.
And that's Kevin. And I talked to Kevin a lot. He's high on my chart. So have we done it?
No, we're still waiting for answers.
Well, Kevin, I talked to Kevin about this. The SACE Part 2, and he's not said that was a problem.
He wanted state to delete it for us.
No, he wanted SACE to be deleted. I can't delete SACE.
No. The data in state to be deleted
I can't. That's what I told Kevin.
Okay, these are individual type,
I can't go back to delete it, because let's say 4 kids moved into your district and moved out. I delete kids in SACE, they're deleting everybody in the district. Do you understand that that's how bad SACE was built? I can't do it.
okay.
Or I don't have to. Let's say this, it could be done, but I don't know how, and I'm not gonna break it. Okay?
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Mark.
But please.
But, I apologize, but we really want to be productive in our time here today. So I think we want to take a break now until 10:30, and then we can come back and have Randall, or we can take some questions. We can have Randall come and talk to us about reporting, okay?